Everybody's so quiet, I guess it's time to start. It's close enough to 6. We'll call the Board of Mayor and Aldermen meeting for Tuesday, October the 24th to order. We'll ask you to stand for the prayer and remain standing for the pledge. Prayer will be led by Pastor Johnny Bird of Legacy Church.
Father, thank you. Thank you for the awesome opportunity to live in this city by your divine will. Lord, thank you for Bartlett and what it's doing for its citizens. And Lord, thank you for these leaders who continue to make decisions based on what they hear from your word and what they hear from your will and what they hear from the people. God, give them grace tonight as they make decisions that will affect not just us, but generations to come that are going to call this great community home. Lord, give us grace to hear both the will of the people and to hear from heaven to do what you've called us to do in this city, and that's to lead. God, give us grace today. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, will you call the future meetings into the record, please?
Bartlett Station Commission, November 1st at 7:30 a.m. City Beautiful Commission, November 2nd at 6:30 p.m. Industrial Development Board, November 2nd at 7 p.m. Family Assistance Commission, November 6th at 6 p.m. Planning Commission, November 6th at 7 p.m. Beer Board, November 7th at 6 p.m. Parks and Recreation Advisory Board meeting has been moved from November 9th to November 16th at 6 p.m.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I do not see any scouts in the crowd, so we'll move to the official business of the day. First item under the new business is approval of the minutes. Madam Clerk, will you read item number 1?
Minutes of the October 10th, 2023 Board of Mayor and Aldermen regular meeting.
We'd entertain a motion to approve if no one.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, please go to the device and cast your vote for the record. Minutes from the October 10th meeting passes. We now move to the consent agenda. We have 4 items on the consent agenda. Any member of the board may remove any item for separate discussion and vote if they do wish. Hearing nobody with a desire to move anything from the consent agenda, Madam Clerk, will you read the consent agenda to the record?
Item 1, special event permit for the Legend of Stanky Creek Bike Race. Item 2, special event permit for the 27th Annual St. Valentine's Day 5K, 10K run. Item 3, authorization to auction surplus property. Item 4, Treasurer's Report for September 2023.
Properly motioned by Alderman Reeves and seconded by Alderman Griffith. Any discussion on the consent agenda? If not, Madam Clerk, will you move it to the record? Consent agenda passes unanimous. So if I do sound tongue-tied, I'm trying to not cough and suck a cough drop at the same time, so please forgive me. Under new business, Madam Clerk, will you read item number 1?
Item 1, appoint Deborah Bucas to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board.
We present her names before you tonight. Is Ms. Bucas in the crowd? I guess not. So
I move we approve.
Second.
been properly motioned. Any second? Any discussion? So please go to your device and cast your vote on Mrs. Deborah. The vote to appoint her passes unanimous, and we look forward to having you volunteer on our Parks and Recreation Advisory Board. Thank you for volunteering. Item number 2, Madam Clerk, please read into the record.
Resolution 33-23, a resolution to revise and update the personnel policies for the City of Bartlett, Tennessee.
Mr. Ted Archdeacon, Director of Personnel.
Thank you, Mayor and Alderman. The full text of these changes and my summary explanation are in your packets. We are making 3 changes to our personnel policies: a title change for our deputy police chief, a change to our personal appearance policy, and a revision to our alcohol and substance abuse policy.
Been properly motioned and seconds. Any discussion on Resolution 3322? Hearing none. Madam Clerk? Thank you. Motion passes. Madam Clerk, we read item number 3 into the record.
Resolution 37-23, a resolution to amend the fiscal year 2024 Grants Fund and General Fund budgets to recognize State of Tennessee Corrections Institute training grant to the Bartlett Police Department for training equipment purposes.
Mr. Dick Phoebus, Director of Finance.
Thank you, Mayor. This is another grant that the Bartlett Police Department is receiving from the state of Tennessee. It goes into our grant fund, and those are the categories that they may spend the funds for, a total amount of $14,913.
Move we approve.
Second.
Properly motioned and seconds. Any questions for Mr. Phoebus? Hearing no questions, please go to your device. Resolution passes unanimous. Madam Clerk, item number 4.
First reading of ordinance 23-06, an ordinance to amend Title IX, Chapter 2, Peddlers, etc. of the Bartlett Municipal Code by adding a mobile vending ordinance to provide regulations for mobile vending, food vending as a permitted use.
I would just note that if this item passes, please include setting the public hearing for November the 28th. We have Ms. Kim Taylor, Director of Planning and Economic Development.
Ordinance 2306 is an ordinance to amend our current peddlers ordinance, Title IX, Chapter 2 of the Bartlett Municipal Code, and this is to add a mobile food truck ordinance as a permitted use with the approval of a Bartlett mobile vending permit. This ordinance will provide a standardized set of regulations and conditions for this ordinance, and for mobile food vendors so that they can obtain a mobile food permit from the city. Generally, an annual permit will be required. The applicant will have to provide a site plan to show the locations of the food truck. Operational information along with a checklist of items are required for this permit. For example, fire department and codes inspection, state fire marshal certification, Shelby County health certificates, proof of liabilities, insurance, and so on. All these items are outlined in this proposed ordinance. There will also be a newly required fire suppression system that is required by the state fire marshal. A background list of all the locations and info are required for the business to provide where they have had businesses over the past 12 months. Mobile food vending trucks may be located in an office, commercial, industrial, mixed-use development, civic, institutional area, or a park or other public properties. Mobile food vending trucks may be permitted in a single-family residence for a private party or an event under certain conditions. Mobile food vending trucks may be allowed in a park under certain conditions as specified by the Parks Director. Homeowner associations can also hire or obtain a mobile food truck for an event, and other mobile food specific events may be permitted in the city as well. For example, maybe a mobile food truck night at a park or at another public location. The permits will be good for 1 year, and since this ordinance will be on our agenda or your agenda 3 times, with the third and final reading being the public hearing, we in the meantime can make any changes or corrections that you suggest prior to the public hearing. Thank you.
Motion to approve and set the hearing for November 28th.
I have a question.
We need to get a second first. We put that for discussion.
I'll second that.
So, okay, it's been properly motioned and second.
Yes.
So, Ms. Williams?
Okay, so I was reviewing the ordinance, and I had a quick question. I used to own a food truck. So I was wondering regarding the waste, because most is required from a health department standpoint that food trucks have a fresh water and a waste disposal. And it's required that that's disposed at a certain location. What I've noticed with a lot of food trucks is that they don't utilize that. They kind of just open it up, and as they drive off, at the end of the day, just let the waste come out on the road. So I wanted to see if we ensure that we add that to the application, that they make sure that they, it's required by the health department, but I think it'd be good if we confirm that where they're doing that, where they're disposing of the waste, because we don't want that on our streets.
Yes, we do have a waste requirement on page 7 in your, it's B. However, when we develop the actual permit, there will be a checklist that they will have to follow and sign off on. So that will be included on the checklist. If there's a particular way that you suggest that the trash is handled by the mobile vendor, I'm open to that suggestion and can word it that way for the checklist.
Okay, thank you. And one more question, and I'll be done, I'm sorry. Second question is where food trucks are set up, because what I know from Shelby, from Memphis, food trucks are set up in areas where there are other local businesses that have restaurants, that have lease, pay taxes, and do all of that. So I want to make sure that we're not allowing people to set up their food trucks and it impedes on businesses that we have in Bartlett that are local business, and taking away from the money from the Bartlett businesses that actually pay Bartlett taxes and put money back into the community.
Yes, I understand that, and we debated over that. So we can leave it as is, which says the actual property owner is to give the approval for the location and how long, up to a year, within a development or on their property. Or we debated whether or not we should have not only the property owner's signature, but the property owner obtain at least the majority or 2/3 of the existing restaurants within the development, get their signatures as well.
Okay, I like the second part, so thank you.
Alderman Young?
I have a problem with this part where you said they can get a permit, it can be renewed annually.
Yes.
That makes it a permanent food truck. I don't think we need permanent food trucks in Bartlett. Drive through Stratford and Summer Avenue, and there's a taco stand that's been there as long as it's 7-Eleven or whatever it is. But that's competing with the restaurant owners that are paying property taxes. And I have no problem with food trucks for events, and church wants to have a group of folks and a food truck being there, but to allow someone to set up a business, Lowe's, behind Lowe's on Germantown Road as you get to Germantown, there's a permanent food truck set up behind it with tables and chairs out in front of it. That's just, to me, too simple a way for somebody to get in business to compete with restaurants that have been built that people are struggling now. I won't support anything that includes permanent food trucks.
The, another suggestion is that, besides getting the other restaurants sign off, we could do a limited permit for however many months that you all feel comfortable with. So if you're not comfortable with an annual permit, maybe you are comfortable with maybe a month, 3 months, 6-month permit, or maybe a permit that says you cannot be located at this exact location for so many days or something like that.
Well, to me, they're just gonna pick up and move down the street to somewhere
No,
else.
But with their application, they have to provide a site plan, and that site plan identifies where they will be located at, or multiple places that they will be located at with a schedule.
We can see how it comes out.
Alderman King?
Director Taylor, there is a need for food trucks, I think. When you have a one-day event or a two-day event, there was an event Saturday at Freeman Park. There was 2 food trucks there, which was great. There's 300 or 400 people there, but something that runs more than just for an event. I'm like Jack, I'm not for somebody setting up. So it's a permit, and this also makes a permit a little easier, which is okay, instead of it being a special event permit that's very long, 17, 18 pages. There is a shorter permit so that on a one-day event or that's a grand opening for a store or something that they can have a food truck. But the one-year deal, I'm with you, Jack. I wouldn't be for, I would think it would be for a designated event or a time. And most events are only 1 day or 2 days when they have a food truck.
Currently, that is the issue, that is the way it's done. I mean, you can have your food truck included with a special event permit. We already do that. This is,
In that special event permit, but if there was not a special event permit, let's say a church on a Wednesday night, their kitchen broke and they had a food truck come to feed the church that night, they could do this shorter one-page permit, couldn't they, to come there and set up to cook one meal there, or is that possible, or?
well, they would have to go through a lot to even get to that point with getting all the certifications, the Bartlett codes inspection, the Bartlett fire marshal's inspection. There's going to be setback distances from the building. There's going to be health certificates. There's going to be the fire suppression system requirement, which from what I understand.
But if they get that one time, I mean, every time they do that, they have to say they had an event in August and then they had one in September, they got to get all that again? Or is that good for a period there?
However those departments issue the permits
Okay.
for, that wouldn't be up to us.
Okay.
So I've got a couple questions, particularly on the tax side. So as it pertains to food trucks, obviously they have to pay sales tax. I'm sure they have to have a sales and use tax
Yes.
approved by the state of Tennessee. But do they collect local option sales tax, and where does that go?
No.
Okay, so that doesn't happen today.
Right.
Okay.
So, right now, the sales tax is based on where their brick and mortar is, or if it's a home-based business and they live in Memphis, then Memphis gets that tax. But if they're in Bartlett, then Bartlett gets that tax. It's based on the location.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so the other question is, and one of more of a concern, right? So one of the struggles that we currently have, and I think we all know this, is brick and mortar is expensive. And the cost to starting a restaurant is extremely cost prohibitive. And I think it's part of one of the reasons why we struggle to recruit restaurants to the city of Bartlett. It's one thing to have a service where you have a limited amount of startup capital needed, but when it comes to a restaurant, I think we know from experience the cost associated with it is extreme. Particularly when you actually have to go in and you have to fix something up and you have to retrofit it, bring it up to code, or you have to build something new, so it's expensive. But we also have a lot of spaces that are empty, that are unique spaces that we can have gathering places with food trucks. I have a problem with the fact that we can't collect tax off of something that's permanent. That will not pay property tax, will not pay sales tax to the city of Bartlett. I think that's putting our other businesses at a disadvantage. But by the same token, I feel like that we need other options, particularly options that are more diverse, because we don't have a lot of diverse food options, and a lot of diverse food options come in food trucks. So I'm kind of at a crossroads with this one particularly. I think we need a good ordinance when it comes to food trucks. I do feel like that if we do not, if we don't do this the right way, we will have a bunch of food trucks in town, and we will not reap any tax benefit out of it. So I think we need to we'll spend some more time looking at it, but I tend to lean more towards temporary food trucks versus something that we can deem as permanent, unless the food truck is attached to a permanent fixture in Bartlett. So if it's a restaurant that's already here and maybe they want to set up something on the other end of town, they're already paying sales tax or paying property tax or looking for something, but they don't have it. So something to maybe think about, if a business is already here and they're already contributing, maybe it makes more sense. But if it's one that does not have brick and mortar here and they're not paying taxes, I think it just needs to probably be temporary. So let's think through that a little bit.
Okay, and when you say temporary, are you saying keep it the way it is through a special event permit, or are you saying a shorter permit time?
I would probably say a shorter permit time. The reason why is because the Bartlett Station Commission may decide that they want to do Food Truck Friday for 2 months or for a month. And we don't want to have to come back for a special use permit every week or something like that. So we need the flexibility to be able to do that if we're wanting to do something like that. So something to think about. Thank you.
Ms. Williams, Alderman Williams.
So, I agree with you, Alderman Reeves, but I'm thinking maybe a quarter, like 3-month permit, because I'm thinking from Memphis, how they do their food trucks. Like currently, every Thursday, they have a food truck park. They do it in Court Square. So when I think about it, I think about like Freeman Park, like you have that set up once a week, and they pay a permit for that over there, or it's a fee to be set up over there, once a week or something. And I'm just throwing that out there, but I think maybe a quarter, 3-month permit set up, and that kind of keeps a rotation of food trucks, versus one coming in and setting up shop and staying here. I think you get 3 months of lost revenue or taxes coming to us is not as hard as somebody setting up here for a year and collecting money, and they don't live in the community, they don't have any other business in the community, and then they're taking it back to whether it be Memphis, Lakeland, or whatever surrounding areas. So that's just my suggestion.
We were planning on attaching a fee with the permit. We were gonna start out with perhaps the same permit fees that we charge for a special event. And then next fiscal year, if you guys were to approve this, we would come up with another line item with a larger fee for food trucks. And then we did have the thought of what if we rotated them out so that they would not be located at one location. Maybe they're at the park for 3 months, and maybe they're down near the Wolf Chase area for another 3 months or something like that. We thought about that as well.
As far as, will there be a listing of the food trucks? Like, for instance, if a church wants to use a food truck, there is going to be a listing on our city website, the food trucks that can be utilized within Bartlett, the city of Bartlett.
We could certainly start a list based on the permits that we have, yes.
So that would keep those that are, because I just know you'll have one sneak in if there's not, and they have to use those particular food trucks. Anything outside of that, they know that they could be fined for that. Mm-hmm. So I think that would be something good to add to that.
Alderman Quinn.
Sorry. I feel like we all share the same concerns. We're just trying to do things for the people of Bartlett. I think we've all talked to food truck people. We've all, and citizens having these discussions. It'd be nice if there was some way that we could capture the sales tax. And I don't know, that sounds like a lot of stuff for finance maybe to do, but I don't know because let me back up. I feel like this ordinance is really tightly written, so we're not going to have a lot of the food trucks that we see in Memphis, which is good, because we have to keep doing things to take care of the way the city looks and operates. But if there's some way that we could, looking at you, Dick, there's some way that we could capture the sales tax on that through the permits, and maybe that'd be the shorter fee, shorter time period for the permit, and then they could bring some paperwork in, maybe for the state reporting, because they have to report sales tax and pay that to the state. So I don't know if we can get a copy of that and figure out what our portion is, and that's part of their next permit or something. I mean, is that feasible? Is that too much to ask for finance to take care of? Because I'm assuming it would fall to you. Oh, yeah, I mean, I understand they're paying sales tax to the city of Memphis, say they live in Memphis, but is there any way, as part of a ongoing permit, we could try to recoup that? Or is that some kind of illegal taxation kind of thing? I'm not sure what the legal term would be, Ed.
I believe the only thing we could capture would be the fees for the permit. That's how we would
Okay,
capture.
So we could try to figure out what that tax was and say, your permit may have been $50 this time, but next time it's $250, $275. I mean, something, is that feasible?
Well, we were thinking that, like I said, we'll start off with the special event permit rate, and then that will change the next fiscal year when we all discuss what that rate should be, so that then we can add that to our budget for the revenues that would come in based on those fees. So that fee might be $300 for 3 months, or it might be $100, I don't know. So that would be something to be discussed amongst all of us.
Okay.
It definitely's got to be creative, Kevin, because nobody else is doing it.
Right. And I feel like, we're at step one, so we can be, but just reading through this, and I don't know how y'all feel about it, but I felt like this was a really tightly written ordinance, and we were not gonna see the mess that we see in a lot of places, but this is a good start. It's a good building block for us to go on, but I feel like we all have the same concerns, moving forward, and we do have three times to look at this, or put it on pause and meet and talk about it more. Excuse me.
This was pretty well vetted. It come out of Franklin, Tennessee.
We modeled this after Franklin, but we looked at 3 or 4 other ordinances, and we changed and tweaked the way that we wanted it, so.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at it, I felt like it was gonna be a very small amount of people who would qualify for this, as it should be, because there's some rough-looking food trucks out there. I'm not even qualified as a food truck or trailer.
Well, the administration's here exactly what y'all are saying, and I think with some room that we can critique that, and if it's fees or being creative in some other type of way, but it's all taken note. We've got 2 more readings on this. If y'all feel like we need to have a workshop on it, we'll be glad to hold that, to vet all the concerns, or take y'all's concerns and try to find answers for them. Get the administration to get back with you.
Mr. Mayor, I think the only thing is the consequence, or what's the impact of this particularly, and it looks like Alderman Quinn said, that it may not really impact a whole lot. My biggest concern is creating a food truck city, and I like food trucks, by the way, don't get me wrong. I really do. I mean, they have some great food, but going back to the previous point, it's not difficult to do business in Bartlett now, but it's definitely hard to get a property in Bartlett right now. And to me, I feel like it could create an explosion, and food trucks is the easiest way to get something in the city for food, right now. So that's the only thing, my biggest concern, but we can talk through that.
Okay.
Director Kim, is the fee for a special event $90? Is that permit $90? Is that right?
I believe it's 50 plus some additional administrative fees, so it can be anywhere from 50 to like $75.
Okay, thank you.
No, I just made a statement that was kind of low compared to what I paid when I was in Memphis with my food truck. is rather low. And then I wanted to address what Alderman Quinn brought up about finances. If you start requiring them to report things in that way, it's gonna make them be dishonest, because a lot of the food trucks already are taking money via cash and not reporting it even to the Memphis or the state of Tennessee. I've seen it. So if you pay me in cash, that way I don't have to run it through my POS. So that's the tricky part about it. So.
Well, I'll just say this real quick while they confer. I'm sure, y'all, I'm not telling y'all anything about the restaurant business, but I have had restaurants on both sides of town tell me they'd like to have a food truck or trailer to go to the other end to try to reach a different audience. So that's what I was hoping that this would really be, somebody who's already established, but they just want to move one into to the other. So just want to throw it in.
Ms. Taylor?
Trey was just saying, like I said, $50 to $75. She said it's actually like a $50 fee with the administrative cost. It's a $72 permit. But again, that would only be until the end of June.
We could set that fee to whatever we decide. And then we're in the middle of this year's reason, we're talking about just using that fee until the next cycle. But is there any more questions for Mrs. Taylor? Okay. So we've motioned, we've seconded, and we've discussed. So the chair would entertain a motion. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
But the public hearing wasn't set with the motion.
Okay.
It was, I'm sorry.
Well then, let's go to your device and cast your vote then. First reading for ordinance 2306 passes. Madam Clerk, will you read item number 5 in the record, please?
Item 5, appeal of the Design Review Commission's denial of the request of the smoker shop located at 6524 Memphis Arlington Road to add accordion security bars behind the window frames inside the store on the front elevation.
Miss Kim Tyler, Director of Planning and Economic Development.
Yes. This request went before the Design Review Commission for review and approval on September 19th, 2023, after the Code Enforcement Department cited the business for installing security bars or gates along the windows without the DRC's approval. The Design Review Commission denied the request but recommended that the applicant seek an alternative security product. In May of 2018, the applicant submitted a similar application to the Design Review Commission after they had installed security bars behind the windows. At that meeting, the Design Review Commission denied the request and again recommended alternative security measures. Therefore, the applicant is appealing the decision of the Design Review Commission to this board. The business has been broken into 6 times this year through the drive-through the drive-through window and the sliding door on the side of the building. After speaking with the police chief, the applicant's surveillance video could not be downloaded and shared with the police department. According to the police reports, anywhere from $500 to $1,700 in merchandise has been stolen. Merchandise like vapes, cigarettes, e-cigs, and CBD products. Also note that this is the only business in their center that has been broken into. Thank you.
I'd like to ask Vice Mayor Young, he's the chairman of DRC, if you'd like to say anything.
Yes, sir. It was brought before the DRC, and the applicant was supposed to be present to talk to us about it, and he did not come. And so the DRC, again, for the second time, denied the request to do it. The gates are there already. There are other alternative means. It looks, to the DRC, it looks very strange. One shop sitting there among 5 or 6 is the only one that's got a problem. And we just didn't think it added to the appearance that we wanted to project.
Does the board have any questions for Alderman Young or Ms. Taylor? If not, we'd ask the applicant if he'd like to come forward. Please state your name and address for the record, please.
Ahmed Safrini, I'm the owner.
Scott Turner, I'm representing, well, I'm here with Mr. Safrini. We were both present at the original DRC meeting. As, just to reiterate, yes, we did try to come up with a design where we did the bars on the inside, where we could do tinted windows or something and kind of make it where you wouldn't see them. The committee did not want to go with that. We stated at that point, unfortunately, cigarettes are a highly targeted item when it comes to thieves because they're one of the few things you can steal and sell on the street for almost the same price as you sell them in a store. There's really not any other item that a thief can get their hands on that has the return rate of cigarettes, unfortunately. So throughout the history of the store, I believe it was 26 break-ins total.
Total, yeah.
In the basic 5 years, 6 years it's been open. We were hoping going with the accordion style security gate where it was something that remained open during business hours and out of the way to where you didn't have the bars in front of the business during the day, well, during business hours, which we are, what are your business hours?
From 7 till 9.
From 7 to 9, the bars would be open. It would be completely concealed to the side. And then, while the closing hours, then I'm going to assume everybody's familiar with accordion-style security gates. You know, they kind of just slide across and lock. That's what we're talking about. And that would remain closed when they're closed. The police have been great. They get there quick. If this was Memphis, I would almost say that the gates would be just a waste of time because they're just going to rip them down and get in the store and get whatever before the cops ever show up. In Bartlett, the response time has been excellent. That extra couple of minutes, 3 minutes that those gates give the store gives the time for the police to respond and stop the theft. I mean, obviously, 26 break-ins is bleeding the business dry. He's developed a pretty good clientele in the area. Selling cigarettes may not be everybody's idea of service, but it is a service to that area. People do come by frequently and patron the business. So I don't know where the compromise is. We're hoping that something like the accordion gates that could be hidden during opening hours could be a possible choice. It's real easy to throw out, well, just do bulletproof glass. Well, yeah, that's astronomically expensive to do so. So, I don't know. That's where we are. We're hoping that that's a possible alternative.
Did I understand you to say you were at the Design Review Commission?
Yes, sir. I was. The very first one.
In 2018. The last one, there was no one there.
Sir, my mom had cancer stage 4.
I understand that, but bottom line is, did you know the Design Review Commission denied your request?
I personally wasn't aware of the other meetings.
I wasn't there. I couldn't make it.
But you put them up after it was denied.
No,
and to say,
it was up already before I approached because it became very, very stressful. After the 6 break-in within 1 month, the police department were aware of that. It just became to a limit where I'm bleeding. And they broke in. The second day, they broke in again. The third day, they broke in again. And the police did a phenomenal job. I would love to say something beside that. They showed up. They were sympathetic with me. They even stayed all night. I stayed there personally 3 days because every time we fix the glass, they come in, they broke the second day, then the third day, and I heard the lady saying $1,700 total. That's $1,700 to $2,500 per break-in, minimum.
okay, let me get where I understand better. I think someone just said that there were six police reports, and he said 26 times.
No, this is since 2018.
Since the inception of
Since
the store.
2018, since we opened, total of 26, and not all of them were reported to the police. Not all of them.
Okay, and
Like
you
if
also indicated these gates are not visible. when they're not open. I mean, I think if you drive by there right now, they're very visible. I just drove by there on the way here.
They were completely open?
No, but he said they weren't visible.
If
They're
open,
absolutely visible.
you have the pictures. I provided some
I don't
pictures.
need pictures, I live around the corner. I drove by there on the way here.
Well,
You
sir,
can drive in front of your store and you can see the gates that are, I mean, they're not closed, you're right, but it's very clear what they are.
I 100% agree with you, and I'll tell you my options. They showed a film that they told me it's supposed to delay the break-in. So we put that film, they broke into it, we did it in the side. So they just cut through it through a razor. Then, we put the bars in 2018, and you guys did not like it, so I took them away. So, and actually the police report, the last police report, it shows the success of these gates. It delayed, they broke into the store, they couldn't get in. By the time they tried, they spent 3 minutes, the police officers showed up, and for the first time, they did not steal anything. It did show the improvement. And I didn't even touch it because I don't know what, I kept that side broke, where they broke into these gates. I kept it like that till I find out today if I'm gonna keep these gates. The bulletproof, it's gonna cost exactly $186,000. That's the cheapest quote we got. But I really can't afford that. Now, if you went to my store, and I don't want you guys to be nice to me, you've seen the marble and the granite and the cigar shop. I'm not advertising for certain other tobacco stores does. I'm always advertising for cigars. It doesn't mean it's a good thing, but it's much classier. I really love this city. I mean it. I'm not saying it because I love working, even the police officers, what they've done to me, I know in Memphis. I own a lot of shopping centers in Memphis, Tennessee. No, and I always try to be a part of Bartlett. The business here is great for me. I love to stay here. I pay my sales tax, and I pay a lot of taxes from that store. And if you guys are unhappy with it, I'll still take him. I have no problem. But I urge you, I'm really bleeding. And the solution of closing the store, it's there, but I cannot take it. The insurance are not giving me a policy anymore. I've tried, and now I'm at the limits. Any more break-ins? And again, I keep, because I would love to remember these police officers' names. They did beyond what they're supposed to do as a police officer. I would not expect 5% in Memphis of what they've done. So, and I did my best, and that's all what I can do. And if it doesn't work, hey, God knows better.
Is the option of making the security gates more attractive when they're open, is that a possibility?
I can't speak for the Design Review Commission. The Design Review Commission said no. It's up to this board if they want to override that.
And I'm assuming the design review I apologize for not being aware of what the last ones were. Was it the security gate, what was presented? The accordion gate? Okay.
Alderman Griffin.
One question, because you mentioned, I think it was mentioned previously about the break-ins happen through the sliding door, but yet the gate is over the front door that's not the sliding door. So how is that defeating the break-ins that are happening through the sliding door if the gate's over the doors that open on the front hinge? And how is that defeating any break-ins there if they continue to happen at the sliding door?
It goes a whole, in the whole front. Where the glass start, where the storefront is, you're gonna see all of these gates. And basically they retract, basically 8 feet. And once you close them, they become 1 foot. But once you open them, they extend up to 8 feet.
And they go down the side as well?
Yes.
I was gonna say, because the concern is over the gates being across those front doors, but the break-ins are happening on the sliding door, which is on the side of the building, correct?
It's a corner storefront.
Right.
The gates go
Yeah, I know exactly where it is.
Okay.
But all the images are showing us the pictures of the gates across the front of the store, yet the break-ins are happening on the side of the store. So that's why I was concerned.
So
that
we have it there.
we
and
installed
there.
something on the front
That's
that's
the broadest exposure. So as far as giving you an example of what. the storefront was gonna look like.
Okay.
Alderman Reeves.
Thank you for coming down, Mr. Saffarini. 2 questions. One's going to be for you, and the one's going to be for the chief. So get ready. The first one is, they did mention that your surveillance video didn't pick them up or didn't work. Can you kind of expound upon surveillance video that you have in your building? Do you actually have cameras that are pointed at the door? Could you see who it was?
I wasn't aware of that. I'm being very, very honest. Actually, I have videos now that I have in my phone, so I don't know why would the chief says that we didn't provide him with the... Yes, you cannot see them because they're masked, but yes, we have cameras.
All right, so you actually have video footage
yes.
of these folks coming in?
Yes.
Okay.
I can show you too, so I don't understand that part, but I didn't want to make any comments.
Okay. General question from the chief, if I could ask. Chief, are we seeing regular break-ins at the smoke shops? Is it kind of a endemic to these shops, or is this just specific to Mr. Saffarini's location?
Well, excuse me, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It's very unusual to have that many break-ins at one shop, period. I'm not sure exactly why they're targeting his business, except for the fact that it is easy access from the site because it used to be a dry cleaners, and so the dry cleaners had a sliding glass door. That sliding glass door, even though he had he had shelves in front of that door, it's still easy access to it, so they were able to break in and go into that.
Okay.
Obviously, they're looking for, like he said, for cigarettes, vape paraphernalia, and obviously cannabis deprived.
I'm just trying to figure out if this is something that's really normal for smoke shops. Are we seeing it just in general?
It's really not normal for any of our businesses to
Okay.
be broken in at any time. So
Okay.
we have done some surveillance to try to stop it. And what he's talking about, the video, he has a video system. He was able to show the police officer, I think, on the scene, a suspect picture, but when asked to download it, he couldn't download it for the detectives.
Got it.
And so we couldn't have access to take it to the police station as evidence. And then it starts, rolls over, don't it?
If it would have gone to the police station as evidence, do you feel like that your detectives probably could have made out and probably figured out who it was?
I don't know because I didn't see the video. I believe they were masked and they were probably young.
I feel like it would be a good idea to upgrade your system, because it doesn't seem like it's doing the job that it needs to do to allow them to do their jobs. But second of all, and Chief, I'm done with you, thank you. Mr. Saffarini, why do you keep the sliding door? I mean, is it a drive-through business? Or you do a lot of drive-through business?
But the sliding door it was there and we shut it closed.
Okay.
And to change that storefront as an owner, I don't own the shopping center, not like the Appling store or the shopping center in Macon.
Yeah.
I can do this adjustment the way I want because I own the property.
Right.
In this
one you're
shopping-
leasing. So
Yes.
if you go to the guy you're leasing it from or whoever, and you say, I'm leaving if we don't close this sliding door right here, would they do it? Would they allow you to do it? Are you that good of a tenant to them?
And Mr. David, I can give you answer, but I just don't want to take much of your time. But I'll explain to you what's my situation in that location. If you can give me 2 minutes of your time.
No, I'm fine. We're here. I mean, hey, when this is done, it's done. So let's
The
do it.
chief was absolutely right. I own a lot of stores and gas stations and shopping centers. This store is weird. Basically, it's targeted by the same two kids, and they're young. That's all what we can see from the pictures, from the way they move. And they live in the back neighborhood. And while I was overseas with my mom, they sent me a letter from Bartlett. I don't know if it's true about you guys set a drone. I have it in my phone.
It's okay. Go ahead.
They set a drone to watch them, so they were doing their job. And you have to remember, I'm the owner. Now, everything they did with, every store has a manager. And under each manager, there is employees. So the manager dealt with most of them, but I went there twice after it started hurting me. I didn't show up to to this store till I see the sales are getting destroyed, the insurance policies, we have issues. Now I'm losing a lot of money before I'll eat it up. You know, if you lose, it's part of business to lose 10% every break-in. It's okay, it's not worth it to claim to the insurance. Until now, I didn't claim not even one insurance because the deductible is $2,000, so it's not worth it. It's unusual, 100%. It's just the same people who keep doing it again and again, and this doesn't happen. Not even in Bartlett. So we have these guys that don't care, they're not worried, they're not scared, they're just doing it again. The gate did delay them. Now the side, I need to explain to Mr. Robert, the side is just a corner store. So the side, that's where they always come in. They're scared to come in from the front. But I know if we keep the gate in the front, if you want to steal, sir, from my experience, and sadly, I have a lot of experience with break-ins, not because I like it, because of I own so many locations. If you want to steal, you'll steal, nothing stops you. It's very hard, it's easy. What shocks me, the amount of work they put in to steal, I swear I'll hire that guy to work for me.
Are you sure they don't?
Are you sure they don't work for
Are
you?
you sure they don't work for you? Because typically when something like this happens,
I love my employees, sir, and I really would defend them. They're good people, they've been with me forever, and don't believe me, go meet them yourself. They've been with me forever.
I'm not saying that they're not, but
I'm just
I work in similar spaces, and typically a lot of times these are inside jobs.
But they are having to violently break in. It's
Yeah.
not something where somebody picks a lock or something like that.
Yeah.
Sadly, sir, all my employees like a little bit heavy set like me, and the ones who break in are really, 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 really skinny. I'm not judging anything. I'm not saying anything. I'm just telling you.
So here's my point of view. If I could just share it with you, when we start putting accordion doors on our business, it signals to the community a problem. And well, it is, but there is a problem. Yes. But is it a problem with the broader community or just this one store? And this signals to them that what they think it's an issue with the broader community when they see these things that they typically see on streets that are on every door of every business. If we start approving these, it signals a major problem in the overall community, and I don't think that that's the case. At least when I hear the crime statistics from the chief, that's not the case. But what does concern me a little bit is that you've got video that they can't do their job because they can't get the video to download it to go do their detective work to find out who it is. So, so I feel like there may be a missing step here. But listen, I definitely empathize with you for sure. I don't know what the solution is. It's not going to be an accordion. I'm not sure anybody here is prepared to do that. I definitely not. So either A, you need to go talk to the people who own the property and say we gotta shut this sliding door. We can't continue to have this. It's killing us. And you need to probably figure out how to get your video to the cops. That way they can actually go do their job. That would be helpful. And trust me, we had this happen where we got ripped off because I own a business in Bartlett as well. We had the video. We gave it to them. They went and found them. It didn't take them long to find them at all. It was quick. So I'm a little dumbfounded why they don't have what they need to do their job to get it done. You know what I'm saying, Mr. Safferini? That's all I'm.
Absolutely agree, Mr. David. But and I've been through this, and I'm gonna be very, very honest with you.
Yeah.
Sometimes my job, with all of my employees, I tell them I'm insured.
Yeah.
I don't want no heroes. It gets sometimes where I really work hard for my money.
Yeah.
Behind every successful story is a very sad story. Yeah. And for somebody to take it so after the third or fourth break-in, you start not thinking right. And I don't want I'm not proud to say this, but I had 3 people killed in my stores, and we killed, some of my employees killed 2 armed robberies. And so I know these are kids. And whatever I can do to prevent any conflict in the future, I think it's worth it. I know, again, anything you guys make a decision, and I respect it 100%. You're not hurting me. God blessed me more than I deserved. God gave me more than what I deserved in life. I mean it. I mean it. So this is the cameras. I promise you, I'm working on it. But since Corona, sir, I don't know, David, it's just me. Everything is slow motion. So I did sign a contract, but I fired them. I hired another company. Everything is slow motion. Is it me or everything is going that way since Corona? But I'm not gonna go through that again. But again, these gates are slowing them down, and it worked. If the chief can approve of this point, that the last 2 break-ins, they didn't get into the store. They didn't take any of the merchandise. It did slow them down. And since then, no break-in. None. So did it prove? Yes. And you can ask the police about that. If they didn't steal since we put them up, again, I don't want that conflict. A lot of people supported me, and one of my employees killed someone. I wasn't happy about that because that's not the publicity I want. I'm not there to do. I'm insured. If somebody takes the whole store, it's not worth a life. You'd never know. A kid, why would he do it? I was a kid. We all were, did some stupid stuff. It doesn't deserve something like, I don't want it to escalate. So whatever your decision is, just take these in consideration. Take the conflict. If we can save life, if that can delay. If you want to put it only in the side and take the front, I have no problem. We just keep it in the side. Anyway, now I'm putting a fridge. I don't know if, so you're aware of it. I put a fridge and I put heavy things so they cannot move it, you know?
Yeah, I have a couple, sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, sorry.
So, I'm agreeing with Alderman Reeves, because I had a break-in at my restaurant. I own a business in Bartlett as well, but we do have a camera, so we were able to get direct view of the person who did it, as well as they fingerprinted, and they were able to apprehend that person, you know. So I know the Bartlett police, and I'm very thankful for that, because I had about right at $2,000 worth of damage they did it in my restaurant. So I just wanted to piggyback off of that the camera issue. I find an issue with that. You know, to have a business where we do know that people, like you said, they can purchase, you know, they can sell the same thing they bought. You steal from your store, they can sell it on the street and reap the same benefit. There's actually a smoke shop in the same vicinity of where my business is, and I will say they've been broken in about 3-4 times because the police have come down to try to see my camera. So I do feel that those types of businesses are targeted, whether and it's kids over there too as well, because that's what they keep saying, that it's kids. I don't agree with the accordion because I do feel like it gives the neighborhood a bad look. It does make a business or a business area look a little not safe. And as a Bartlett citizen, when I see that, I think not safe. You know, Bartlett citizen, that's a transplant of Memphis, born and raised and grew up in Memphis and went to school. When I saw that, those are areas that I thought to myself, oh, I better watch out because there's something going on there. So I would agree that this suggestion would be to maybe talk to the owner of the business of your current location to see if they can provide some type of monetary or something to close up those sliding doors. But I think that it does give a look of the area being unsafe with that. So I don't know if I agree with that. You know, I do know, do I want any lives lost? But I don't think that that's the best way to do it. I understand that bulletproof glass does cost a lot, but the camera issue would be a big issue, because I know that if you had that video, I'm very confident in our police force that they would find them. And they might, if you get those two, it just seems like it's the same ones that's doing it. I think that that video, they would catch them. because they did it for me, and the same thing.
Ma'am, we have cameras as we speak now. It's just, David mentioned the upgraded one. I'm looking for, there is a new kind of cameras where they move. Whenever they sense any movement, they keep following it. And all of the time they break in, they were wearing masks and gloves. They're not professionals, but they wear masks and gloves. And again, I respect your opinion about the restaurant, but all the restaurants that I have leased from me, I never had any break-ins, but even if there is a break-in, there is not much to steal. Now, with the inflation, you're talking 4 cartons of cigarettes, we're talking about almost $300 to $350, which is this much. A box of vape, regular vape, which is most of the theft this times is vape. A box of vape will be around $200. So but anyway, it is more high targeted businesses. I agree with you 100%. But what did I do to help? I took the bars. The first time they told me about the 2018, I took them. And all the break-ins, I didn't even claim any of them. But recently, in the last, actually 5 months, where it gotten really hot on me. So these gates I got, they're 1 foot again. And I put them where the storefront. And he told me, Mr. Jack, and if it's bothering him, it's bothering me. Because it's 1 foot, but they extend, and we only put them at night. We don't put them in the daylight. So in the morning, if you wanna, you're gonna see a small black, but I'm afraid my employees did not do a good job in the morning, opening them all the way up. I'm not saying they look great, but they don't look bad at all. I was there supervising that job. And I did my best after all. But the camera, I am working on it, and I can provide you with one of the contracts where I'm installing a $16,000 camera system, new one.
Alderman Quinn?
We appreciate you coming down, and appreciate you having a business in Bartlett. Just a lot of things I have questions about. I'm sorry if I'm jumping around, but you said the last 2 times they didn't get anything?
No.
But earlier you'd said they got $2,000 worth of stuff.
And they broke in 6 times, sir. The last 2 times, they broke the losses. You consider the glass and the storefront as a loss. And now with the inflation, I'm just telling you, make sure of these numbers. Every broken glass is around $600 to $700 for them to come and replace it and do the reseal.
Oh, okay. But you're saying, let me back up again. So when did you first put the accordion gates up?
I think it was in 1st of July like 1st or 2nd of July.
Okay, but
of this year.
But you remembered that the DRC had already denied that.
Say that again.
You remembered 5 years ago the DRC had denied that, right?
They denied the metal bars. We didn't do.
It didn't occur to you maybe it's a different shape and metal was kind of the same thing. You should ask. So you're just playing semantics with it. Okay.
Those are much easier.
No, I understand that. Yeah.
You understand me? So if you guys didn't like it, but at least I'll stop the bleeding. My job there is to stop the bleeding. I don't want them to get something, and I would love somebody to stop me if I'm saying it wrong, especially the chief here, if he can listen to this. If a thief comes in and get a good chunk of money, that's an invitation for a second time, and he comes and make another money. It's just an invitation to him and to his friends.
No, I understand that, but have they come in the same way 26 times?
No. We're talking, I'm here for the last basically 8 or 6 times.
So they used to come on the front.
It happened so many times, but it's all reported. And some of them we didn't report to the police because it wasn't worth it, sorry. If they broke into the glass wound and got scared, because the police shows up really fast.
Because of an alarm?
Yes, because
you have
of the alarm.
You have a glass break sensor?
Yes.
Okay, because the other smoke shops around town, they use the film, and it's not bulletproof. If we come to the point where we need bulletproof glass in Bartlett, we're in a whole different kind of hurt than just this. But the film is not that expensive, and the other shops have it. And some of the other shop owners told me they would never want to have that look because it scares their customers, just like it scares anybody driving by. So I don't understand why you didn't go with the film or maybe take that window out. I mean, there's more security at a Kroger gas station than there is with the sliding glass doors on your building. I just don't understand why you wouldn't do something about that.
Say, I'm sorry, I didn't get your last point. Why is it in Kroger?
If you go to Kroger, to the little gas station, they have the glass, they have the little tray. There's a KFC in downtown Memphis is like that, and that probably is bulletproof. But, you know, I mean, what are you handing out the windows or the drive-through that you need such a large sliding doors? I mean, it's no longer a dry cleaner.
The side, I say that I don't own the building to do that part. This is a tobacco store.
I understand, but you've lost a lot of money.
Not have the vape that I have, because I have
You said they were
varieties.
stealing cigarettes. You said they were stealing cigarettes.
And I said vape too, sir.
So now it's vape too.
No, I did say cigarette and vape.
Yeah, you talked
I
selling
said
cigarettes.
4 cartons of cigarettes is around $300, and 1 box of vape is around $200. And that's what I remember I said. If I didn't make that clear.
Yeah, I just don't understand why you haven't done something with the drive. I know you don't own the building, but I understand how landlord-tenant relationships go. And if they want to keep you there, then they would be willing to brick it up or do something. You know, maybe you should close it. I just don't understand why. You know, it is a little dark around there. I will say that, and a little isolated at night. It's a residential area, so it's not as busy. But I just feel like there's other options that you haven't exhausted yet, besides the gates that you've already been denied before in theory.
Mr. Mayor, could I call the question? We haven't, then that being the case, I make a motion, we deny the request.
So, the motion is to deny the appeal.
Right.
Been properly seconded.
No, don't ask.
Anybody have possibly have any questions?
Now I'm gonna call the question.
So, please go ahead.
Hey, Mayor, if question's called, it takes 2/3 vote to call the question. You gotta vote on calling the question. It's without objection. Then you don't have
Without objection, that means we.
Okay. All right.
Does anybody object?
No.
Call the question.
Correct. Correct.
Shall I sit, sir?
I'm sorry, can I ask you a quick?
Hey, correct, what,
Yep.
the motion is,
To deny.
To deny the appeal.
Because I'm looking across here, it just says whatever appeal, yes or no, so is it yes to deny? Is it all fixed, Penny?
Yes to deny.
Yes to deny, thank you.
Mr. Turner, I need your address for the record, please. Mr. Turner, I need your address for the record. Yes.
6655 Hopper Pike.
Thank you.
And the address is wrong, by the way, 6525 Memphis Avenue.
So, the appeal is denied.
The appeal is to deny the shop located at 6525. Thank you.
So, we move to open discussion. Open to the board first, and then the director, should anybody on board have any issues to discuss? Seeing nobody on the board, move to the directors. Seeing no directors come forward, the citizens complete the open discussion citizen forum prior to starting. Sorry. If a citizen's completed the open discussions form prior to the start of the meeting, they may come forward and state their name and address for the record. The citizen will have 3 minutes at that time, which a buzzer will sound, they must sit down. The total time for open discussion is 20 minutes. Does anybody wish to come forward to speak? Yes, ma'am. Ma'am? Hey, just come to the microphone there. it should be hot where you can start talking.
State your name and address.
Kimberly Gearing, 8485 Spotted Fawn Drive, Bartlett, 38133. Good evening, everybody. I'm gonna be very quick. So I was just coming here tonight because I noticed I've been living over at Spotted Fawn for a little bit over a year, and I'm speaking on behalf of a few residents. We have noticed that we have a pond that's located within the residence that we, in the residential area in Richland Valley, that we was wondering who had owned that pond. I called the city of Bartlett, and they informed me that the Bank of Bartlett owned that pond. So when I called the Bank of Bartlett, tried to get in contact with somebody over there, gave them my information, told them that there's a pond over there that has pretty much been abandoned. It's very swampy, trees is overgrown. It's like a walking trail that you can't really walk on anymore, and just really looks really bad. We got neighborhood that's like, the neighborhood is so beautiful. Like the neighbors take care of the lawns, grass is cut. We got kids that play around. We used to have like people out like barbecuing in the backyards, just really like having a good time by the pond, but now it looks really bad. So, yeah, took my name down, told me that it's gonna get back to me, and it just was crickets. No, nothing. So my neighbors was just getting back to me and was like, Kim, have you heard anything? I was like, no, I haven't heard anything. So then I got wind of you guys, and they was just like, can you come and say something and just let somebody know and see if you can get some word out to see if you can just get somebody to come out and look at this issue, because it's just been abandoned. I used to be a resident over on, I used to stay in Stone Hollow, and we had a pond around there that was owned by the city of Bartlett. And so I know how when areas that is owned by the city is well taken care of, the pond and the playground is really good. But living over here, we see that when the city doesn't own and somebody else does, it just becomes abandoned. So we was just looking to see if you guys can help us out.
Yes, ma'am. Excuse me. The crickets was from the Bank of Bartlett? Okay. Well, since I've been mayor, we've been in contact with them on several things over there, and they took that development back, and we just need them to finish it. We've asked them, we'll reach out to them again and ask them to finish that, and then if they get that finished, then it's gonna be turned over to the HOA.
Okay.
So we'll reach out again. I'll talk with our director of engineering, and we'll speak with Mr. Willoughby over there. I don't know who you talked with at the Bank of Bartlett, but we'll reach out to the Bank of Bartlett and see if we can encourage them to wrap this thing up so we can change hands to somebody who can take care of it.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Sorry you had to wait so long to get to that.
I just want to put on note, that's my neighborhood as well. so.
Okay.
Yeah, and I believe the bank already fixed the fences out there, right? They got that all fixed. So,
Correct.
Yeah, because I talked to them about that, but it was kind of in transit, so they were.
I'm not sure where the pond is, but we'll
Yeah,
get them to look at it.
another
But
pond problem.
Anyway, ma'am, he was referring to the split rail fence. That a lot of those was down. They went out there and fixed it. But anyway, sir, the podium's yours.
George Holder, 6977 Memphis Arlington Road. I came down here for an issue that I found out is in the planning commission, so I'll contact them and see if I can participate in that. Rather than go home, I decided I'd stay here and listen to activities going on. I'm a 72-year Ellendale resident, graduated Bartlett class 65, couple of years ahead of young Jack over there.
Sir, everybody was ahead of Jack.
But I have to say I'm impressed with the way y'all handle yourself here. You know, I don't come down here about once every 10 years for an issue, and every time in the past it's been successful for me. But I just wanted to, rather than go home, I decided I'd just come up here and tell y'all I'm impressed with how you handle business, and I'd vote for you, next election, every one of you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Tell your friends.
You don't have to wait 10 years, though. 76. Mhm. He was there in 14 when the auditorium built, he said.
I was a 67 graduate.
Yeah.
No, he was 65.
Yeah.
He was with him.
Sir?
My name's Eddie Austin. I reside at 8485 Spotted Fund. And my issue is we have like a lot of speeders coming in the neighborhood. They come from New Brunswick to beat the four-way at New Brunswick and Ellis, and they really speed in the neighborhood. And we have like a lot of pedestrians like walking and kids playing. And I seen what they do on Rainier Creek. I work for the city of Bartlett, so I see like a lot of people like slowing down in the neighborhood since we have patrols over there. And I was wondering, could we possibly get the same thing over there?
So, I'm sorry, so what's the address you seen?
8485 Spotted Fund Drive?
Spotted Fawn.
Yeah.
And you want to get the same thing that, what did they have over there?
On Rainier Creek, I see they have like the motorcycle cops out and extra patrols, and they slowed the guys down a lot that come through there.
Okay. He wants a little router. Yes, sir, we can, I can let our chief address that.
Okay.
And you can, and, that's what we're here to do.
Yeah.
We're not, we don't want to, we want to discourage that all that we can, so, Chief, was you clear on where that's at? Yes, sir, I'll talk to them right. Okay, yes, to talk with you afterwards.
One more thing too.
Yes, sir.
It's about loose trash, really. Like, I was told to keep Bartlett looking beautiful when I started working for sanitation. And me and my coworkers, we basically try to do that, but a lot of people on Bartlett don't bag their garbage. Like, they like sit it by the side of the garbage can loose, and it blows in other people's yards and down the street. And it creates a big mess and doesn't keep the neighborhood looking beautiful. And I don't know if code could look into that. I don't, because it's like a lot of stuff. There should be bagged and like all over the neighborhood, and it makes the neighborhood look bad.
So if you could let us know what an address, what that is, and we'll have code look into it.
Okay.
Right, I mean, I think you're making that statement generally.
Yeah.
But sometimes just one or two people that,
It's almost like on every day of a route, really. So me and my coworkers, we talk about it all the time, but nothing get done. So I just wanted to speak on it for a second.
so, well, we can ask the citizens that are watching this video, please bag your trash.
Yeah.
So they don't blow all over everybody's neighborhood and create more work or have an unsightly,
Yeah, we want
unsightly
to keep it
city.
looking beautiful out here, so, we do our best to keep it looking beautiful. So we just need a little help with bagging garbage, that's all.
So let's keep our city beautiful, bag your trash.
There we go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for what you do. Thank you for what you do for Bartlett.
Thank you. Well, I see a bunch of directors and familiar faces. Anybody else out there wish to come forward and speak? If not, and there's a second, that concludes the board meeting for Thursday, the 24th.